Let me show you a quick demo of how I used the checkout API of Blockonomics in my website. I will be selecting the type of book I want, that is hardcover, and the shipping service, that is I want the book next day delivery, and then I'll make the payment with the pay with Bitcoin button of Blockonomics. So once I click a payment, which it will be shown, and this I'll make the payment using this address on the Blockonomics test payment. You will see the page will automatically change of my website, and it will say thank you for ordering the book, and it will show you payment successful. Now let's understand what the checkout API of Blockonomics is. The checkout API gives you a dynamic way to collect charges from the customer. Dynamic way means a book can be of different categories like Kindle, then hardcover or paperback. So for this, you have to collect charges for different products, and they will have different prices. So with checkout API, you can achieve this with a single link. And to achieve this, you have to create a temporary product via API, and which then is passed to the payment button link widget, and which is visible on your website. As we can see in our online booking store, there was a Bitcoin payment button given by Blockonomics. So for that, when you're using this checkout API, a temporary product will also be created, and order records will also be created. So this temporary product will only be for 7 days in your system. After that, it gets deleted. Now let's look in from the graphical representation how this exactly works. So in our example, the parent product is the main book, but the child product can be Kindle with next day delivery or the same day delivery, or a paper book with the same day delivery or next day delivery, or hard book with same day delivery or next day delivery. For this, we cannot create a separate payment link. So checkout API helps us to achieve this with single product button. So now let's see in their merchant store. Here we are creating a single button in which we are passing the product name, the product description, and whatever custom field we need to pass along with price. And then we will generate this widget, which will give us a UID. And this UID we will be passing to the API of create temp product, as mentioned by the Blockonomics, in which we will be passing the parent UID. After that, whatever child product we have created, we will be dynamically passing the name, the description, the price, and all the extra data along with the API key, which you get at the Blockonomics merchant store. So then after that, this API will give you a data UID, and that data UID you will be passing through the payment button or payment link or payment widget. In this way, it allows you to dynamically collect the charges from the customer. So now let's look how to implement this in your website. This website I've created using Next.js framework, and the template which I've used is provided by the Vercel. In this, I've created 2 APIs. That is one API which will pass your data to the checkout API of Blockonomics. That is, as you can see in this code over here, whenever you click the button. So I have created the button of Blockonomics here. As you can see, this is the Blockonomics button which is created, and on clicking of this button, the buy button function gets triggered, and this will create the API checkout API, which will post the data from your website to the Blockonomics checkout API. So here I have defined the method as post, and I've defined whatever temporary product details you want to store in the you want to pass in the temporary product API of Blockonomics. So here I've along with that, you have to pass the parent UID. The parent UID is basically the Blockonomics buttons UID, which you get at the Blockonomics merchant store, which you need to pass whenever you create the button on their Blockonomics website. You get this UID, and then I've just passed the product name, the description, the ID, and the price. After that, then it goes to the Blockonomics temporary create temporary product API, in which it does is post the data. But to do this, you need to have an API key. This API key you get on the Blockonomics site, and the data which you have passed in your post API, the API checkout in your file. And then after that, you will get the response. That response will again come over here in the constant data, and that data you will pass the data's UID you will pass through to the Blockonomics widget, which is responsible for making the payment. So in this way, you use the checkout API to make the payment, as well as creating the temporary product in the database. So there is one more thing which I've used Blockonomics, that is to create a thank you page. So here that is called as Blockonomics payment callback. This basically helps you to pass the data of the products for which you have placed the order to be displayed on the next page once you have done the payment. So this data will then go to my thank you page, and over here I have got the product details for which I placed the data, placed the order, and then I have displayed here. So this is how you use the checkout API and use the Blockonomics payment callback function. And thank you for joining me today as we explore the use of Blockonomics Checkout API in our e-commerce website. I hope this tutorial is helpful in understanding how this system works from both customer perspective and in the backend database of an e-commerce site. For more information, check out the tutorials of Blockonomics on YouTube, on their YouTube channel, and also visit the Blockonomics site. Once again, I'd like to thank you again for joining me today, and happy e-commerce.